Happy December 26th. Hope you had a lovely day yesterday. I'm going to be doing a What Does the Universe Want You to Know Eclipse edition. And we'll be looking at the eclipse that actually just finished a few hours ago. It's a solar eclipse. It was visible only in the Middle East. And so as I speak to you right now, the moon is at 6 something Capricorn, so it's already over. So we're going to be taking a look at, the energy, and Mercury is at 25 Sagittarius. So he is coming up on the galactic center. And so that I expect to be bringing quite a bit of news flying out. Mercury is a trickster, and I've noticed that people are having a hard time saying things the right way, sort of tripping up on their words, or not saying exactly what they mean to say, or having to say things a couple times before they get it right. So if you're getting messages over the next couple of days, if there's mistakes in them, or if people are just having a hard time speaking, or if you even find your own self tripping up on your words, that's why. Anyway, let's get into this. I'm going to do things a teeny bit differently, but we'll look at what each one of the planets is going to be telling us for the ones that were involved in today's eclipse. But first, let's get the overall energy. So what does the universe want us to know about this eclipse that happened on today, the solar eclipse, December 26th, 2019? What does the universe want Aries to know? Okay. So it's loyal heart, but it's in the reverse. So let me check that, because I don't, obviously face up, it's about meeting a loyal or being a loyal heart. In the reversed, however, it says, are you stubborn or overly tenacious about an idea? Or have you become so attached to something that you just don't know how to let it go? Could it be that it's become so much a part of you that you wouldn't know who you are without it? Now is the time to look at outdated beliefs, old ideas, and misplaced loyalties. Betrayal is only a signal that it is time to prune away all who don't deserve your trust and have no place in your life. Be new, think new, and open your heart to new things. Let go of the old and all your attachments. Spirit has awesome plans for you. Make some room. Okay, so that's very interesting, particularly on a solar eclipse. Because it does talk about the new, right? New moon, solar eclipse, giving birth to something new, conjuncting Jupiter. So that's a very interesting and important message, that it's time to do away with that, and perhaps it's something that we stubbornly don't want to give up. But I think we probably have an idea of what it is already. And my feeling is, if we don't, that Mercury is going to make sure we do in the next couple of days, perhaps weeks, because remember, time and energy is fluid. Now, let's check what challenges is this. What does the universe want us to know about the challenges in this eclipse? For Aries, what does the universe want Aries to know for the challenges in this solar eclipse? The Creator. So that's a King of Wands. And it's also like, so A, setting fire, but also look at that solar plexus, and we've been talking a lot over this past month of December about really finding the light that's inside of you, right? And letting it shine in the rest of the world. And so here is that solar plexus that's illuminated. And this is the mastery of that fire energy, of knowing how to translate that which burns inside of you and making it visible to the rest of the world. So this is coming up is the challenge for this eclipse, that once, it's like perhaps we have to let go of something or something past, and it's in our hands. You see, he's got his hands around that. So we have it in our grasp, and we're sort of like channeling energy from it. But it may be that we have to give up something in order to be able to feel this or express this. Let's keep going. What does the universe want Aries to know about the lesson for this eclipse, this solar eclipse? Okay. I'm going to take 2 of these. Interesting. Okay, so the first is awesome. The Holy Spirit, expect miracles. Okay, and you see there's this dual hand thing repeating here, that we have both of these. Now this one says, remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. And there's that Ace of Cups energy right there. You see with the dove putting the wafer into the chalice. So it's like the Holy Spirit is going to be pouring something into your cup, and it may actually be this fire energy that you sort of have to learn how to work with and master, this fire energy that's suddenly going to be ignited in you. Now, the cloak of wisdom, and remember the owls are a symbol of wisdom. So this card says, the cloak of wisdom, Kutumi, you already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know. So that was kind of what I said before, right? Like that whatever has to be let go of, you probably already know what it is already. Perhaps you don't trust it, or you don't trust yourself, that's it. And perhaps you'll get another confirmation underneath this eclipse. But the wisdom that you've been looking for, or this decision, we've been looking at also all through December that there was some sort of decision that we felt that we had to make. And it suggests that you already know what it is. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull my Mercury deck, which I love. And we're going to get straight from Mercury what message he's bringing us as he conjuncts the galactic center. What does Mercury want us to know? Want Aries to know? I'm going to take that, but I'm going to get another one also. What does Mercury want Aries to know? Okay. So we have 2 cards here. Okay, so the first is an augur about mastery, right? And I talked about mastering this energy. So there's really us stepping into power, stepping into a far more evolved role than perhaps we've had in the past. Again, with the hands there being open. The other one, which, this says expect miracles, and it says fortune cookie, so that we're actually being blessed. There's some sort of fortuitous unveiling of, so here's the messages that are on this card. Ready? It says, you will soon be honored by someone you respect. You will receive some high prize or award. Your hard work will soon pay off. And your happiness is intertwined with your outlook on life. So those are the messages that are coming in from here. Now, I just want to double check what this augur card has to say to us. The fortune cookie seems, this says to me that like the information that you need is just going to kind of pop out of nowhere, like perhaps even where you least expect it. Let's do the augur. Okay, so the ancients would often make homage to a wise person, such as an augur, to receive insight and messages in order to take appropriate action. You, however, are not required to do so, as Spirit calls you to step into your own sacred space and call upon the augur within, right? That's that. So this is the challenges for us right now, is really to step into this role, that we now have all the fire, all the intuition, all the power that we need. And it's about learning how to channel it and learning how to express it. So as you tread this path of the chosen few, embrace the gifts that are bestowed upon you. Develop and hone your natural abilities in order to share the messages that Spirit has for you and others. This is your calling. It's time to stop fighting and to acknowledge who you are. Amazing. So it's also like for those of you who've kind of like been hiding your light, it's like time to shine. So it says the augur understands the mastery of acceptance. It's time for you to do just that. So it says you are other divinatory meanings. You are a gifted medium. Don't be afraid of your natural connection with Spirit. Listen to your calling. Time for self-realization. And that's another thing this message may also be, is that, you know, it's already kind of like in you. You've already had the messages inside of you, which is what this suggests also, this wisdom card. Because it says you already know the wisdom that you seek. So it's like inside of you, it's just a matter of you finally like sort of popping it open or being willing to look at it, being willing to read it. Because if you don't open up the fortune cookie, you don't get the message, right? So there's some sort of being open, you being open to receiving your own messages, right? Or to trusting that which you already know. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a card for the sun, the moon, and Jupiter, because that was the trio today. Voila. And we'll see what they have to say. Okay, can I get a card, please? For the energy of the sun under this solar eclipse. What was the energy of the sun under this solar eclipse? What energy is the sun embodying at this solar eclipse? Ooh, okay. So 10 of Wands, hard work, but, sorry, not 10 of Wands, that's a 9 of Wands, have put in a lot of effort, not quite done, right? But perhaps feeling a little bit defensive about the next step, sort of wary about stepping into, you know, taking that final step to the 10 of Wands, which is the last step before it moves into a different category, right? It's the last card of the wands on the earthly, the mundane level before we start moving into the court cards. So you may be feeling a little bit defensive, a little bit wary, a little bit protecting yourself against what, you know, it's like, God, I've already survived so much. What now? But, you know, it's a 9, so it's almost over. And as these cards say, it's really like it's time to step into it, but you can't really step into that mastery chair. You know, I keep thinking about like the King of Wands, like sitting on his chair, or the Queen of Wands sitting on her chair, on her throne. You can't sit on that throne if you're in a defensive position, right? You have to collect what's left of your wands, take them up to the 10, sort of drop them, which is what this is saying. So it's like whatever that burden is. The next card here is the 10 of Wands. So it's like pick up that last piece so that you can drop it and release it and take your seat at the throne. Let's get a card for the moon. Can I have a card for the moon? Excuse me, at this solar eclipse. What is the I'll take it. Energy for the moon. It's funny because this actually came up when I was shuffling before. So this may be the current energy, right? That we're not ready, or you don't want it, you don't, or things aren't turning out the way you hoped for. And so it's like, instead of taking that cup It's like there's focusing here. What's happening is there's a focus on what's not working, right? Let me get one more. What is the energy of Jupiter at this eclipse? What was the energy of Jupiter at this eclipse? Okay. So, things are moving slow, especially with, it's Capricorn. So all of these cards are relatively Capricornian, right? There's not a lot of fast movement. There's concern about the pentacles, concern about what I have, not very emotional. Capricorn can be kind of grumpy too. And defensive. It's like I have this giant mountain to climb. It's taking me longer than I wanted, especially for an Aries. A Capricorn won't have an issue with the Knight of Pentacles because he doesn't have a timeline for getting to the top of the mountain. He just wants to get to the top of the mountain. It's the Aries aspect of this, our need to get there fast, because we think if we don't get there fast, then it's never going to happen, right? Or that it's not for us, or that we should move on to something else. And it's saying is that, like, what we want, what we need is in this cup that we're not taking because we're kind of like whining about some of these things that happened in the past here. And these kind of, I don't know why, but these remind me of these two. This is the stuff we have to let go of. So if we find that we're in a position where we're still sort of like ruminating about things that didn't go down the way we want to, and being stubbornly stuck, also Capricorn, to no, I wanted these three things, and that's the way I want it. And, damn it, I fought for them. Why aren't things working out the way I wanted to? Because look at how much effort I've put into it. What both of these cards are missing is the one thing, right? He's missing the last wand before it becomes the 10 of cups, the 10 of wands, and then he can put those down because that's the end of the cycle. And this guy's missing this one cup that he won't take. Now, remember, that cup is right here. So while we may embody this energy, what the other cards suggest, particularly, so these two, this speaks to this kind of like, okay, that we already have the knowledge inside of us, where we may be sort of licking our own wounds and perhaps feeling sorry for ourselves, but we already know what we need to know. We know that we need to take this cup, right? And so we can sit here, if we want, we can sit here as long as we like and ruminate over this thing, or we can just let it go, whatever it is that we're sort of, quote unquote, whining about that from our past that didn't work out the way we wanted to. It's like, okay, fine, let me just take this one cup and move on, right? And this one is also sort of about trusting one's own knowledge, not being on the defensive. These are both really defensive cards. And I think, and so Jupiter here says it's moving, but it's moving slowly, but it's not as stuck as you may feel, right? So if you're feeling stuck, and this is the energy that you're currently perceiving with the sun and the moon, then the Jupiter kind of comes in to say, if you would just drop these wands and stand up, there's actually the horse that's waiting for you. Yeah, it's not like the fastest horse in this shed that we've got, but it'll move. And then what the rest of the cards say is that when you trust the knowledge that you have inside of you, the knowledge of who you are and the master, like what you know that you are a master of, when you trust your own ability to master that situation or to master whatever it is. The masters don't sit like this, right? Look at the difference, you know? So if we're here and we need to get here, and that's the challenge, right? And the challenge is, yes, it's moving too slow. No, we're not listening to ourselves as well as we should be. There's something that's holding us back because we're continuing to fixate on it. And once we sort of loosen up all of that, all of what's keeping us still and stuck and defensive and sitting down, you know, to sort of be upset about what we don't have, that once that starts to move, actually, that's when the miracles can come in. Now, and this keeps coming, it's very similar to me to all the readings that we've been looking at in December. You know, it's like we have this path to greatness that we're on. It's going slower than we would like because everything's in Capricorn and that sign squares our sign. So it's an uncomfortable energy. It's not an energy we welcome. It's not an energy we like. But it is the sign of slow mastery, right? Capricorn always gets to where it wants to go. Like once a Capricorn commits to doing something, he doesn't die before she doesn't die before doing it, right? Like they will 100% do what they set their minds to do. And we are similar in initiation because we're both cardinal signs, but our need to like move so fast can sometimes get in our way. And then when we move so fast and things don't work out the way we want to, we can also get a little like, all right, well, fuck it. I didn't want to do that anyway, right? But that's not, this is saying that what's waiting for you on the other side of this and on the other side of this slow movement is really something quite beautiful. That is coming, you know, it's divinely blessed. And it's really just this wonderful mastery of all that we have that's within us, all that we have to offer to the rest of the world, and really what makes us unique. So, I'm not going to say it, but yeah, of course, patience is the underlying thing here. But it's also just not letting temporary setbacks or feeling defensive get in our way. You know, it's kind of like dust yourself off, get back on the horse, and keep moving. So if you've been dealing with any feeling of sort of setbacks that have been going on over the last couple of weeks, putting in a new energy into it, and it's asking you to just get back up and get back on the horse. It's a slow horse anyway, so it's likely not going to knock you off again. But it also doesn't help to get off the horse because it's not going as fast as you'd like. Okay. Oh God, that was just advice for me. Sorry. I love it when it does that. Okay, so let me get an advice card here. Okay. So what does the universe want Aries to know as advice for this solar eclipse today, December 26th? What advice for Aries from the universe for the December 26th solar eclipse? Commitment, right? And this is a 9-2, so that's what it's saying. Go the last mile. Get the 10th wand. Keep moving forward. Let me read this to you. Now, it came out like I had it both ways, but I'm going to read it straight up because I think that's the way it was meant to. But I'll actually read both. So if you resonate with one or the other, you can find the message. So, a true commitment is a responsibility of the heart, mind, body, and soul. This is a good time to make one. Partnerships formed at this time are harmonious and powerful. The commitment card indicates the natural evolution from its inception to a literal or metaphorical marriage. At the very least, there is a promise of fulfillment in some form. However, you must be conscious of what you're committing to. Be clear about the nature of your commitment and your responsibility to it. Others are more willing to enter into partnerships at this time. Remember that your partnership with Spirit and the highest version of your own self will engage the highest self in another. Well, so that's interesting. So here's what this says to me also about this, because this is usually a commitment card as well. And since it says you already know what you seek, if you're in a commitment that you know isn't working out, then it may be time to, pack up your horse and move forward. But this also says to me that it is what it is, So one of those things is like, well, I like this person, but I need them to change this way, and that way. Or here's the 3 things I don't like about them, so I don't want it. Now, that's fair. What is not fair is expecting other people to change according to our desires for them, right? They are built the way they are meant to be built because they are on their own path. They have their own journey here in this lifetime, their own contracts that they came to fulfill, and what they have in their energy field, in their life experience, in what's going on, whether they are drug addicts or whether they are overachievers or whatever we think is wrong with them and we're trying to heal in the other person, that's up to them. We can't do it for them. They have to be the ones who want to heal themselves. And if we're in a situation where we're working very hard to heal someone else and we're like exhausted as a result of it, those are situations that we need to move away from. It is entirely within your right to say, I don't like that this person is this, that, and the other thing, but it is also your responsibility then to go look for what it is that you want. And once you do that, lo and behold, you actually end up finding what it is that you're looking for, because you've put that intention out into the world. What we cannot expect is, I don't like these 3 things, and I'm, mad that the person won't change. So, because this card says, be very conscious of what it is that you're committing to. So if you're also dealing with like some sort of business partnership or project or something like that, read the fine print. Remember that it takes 2 to tango. So, they're going to want something out of this partnership. It's not always going to go all your way. At some point, you have to give something also to the other person. Okay. Yeah, those are but when you are and this is the other thing, if you're dealing with other relationship issues where you are acting in your lower self body, which, may be jealousy or mind games, or, we know when we're not being our best selves. If we come to someone in our not best self, we don't engage their higher self. So if we want to deal, if we change ourselves first, the dynamics in that interaction will change by definition, because it will either end, like someone will move on, or they will rise up to meet us. But we can't expect someone else to change. We can only change ourselves. I myself had my own experience with this in the past couple of weeks where it was like, okay, this isn't going the way I wanted to. And so instead of like getting pissy about the person who isn't changing, I just said, all right, then, you know, this isn't for me. And my saying this isn't for me made them realize that actually they wanted to step up a little bit more and change their own behavior. So, but it wasn't me saying, why aren't you this way? Why aren't you that way? Why aren't you the other way? It was reclaiming my own fire. I was like, okay, this isn't what I want. This isn't what I'm looking for. I will then take the invitation to keep moving and see if I can find a better the pentacle that I'm looking for elsewhere. And that flipped the person's own thing on their head. So those may be some of the situations that you are dealing with. I'm going to do a last card here with the energy or the spirit animal, and then I will let you go.